Hi, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it is you're watching this, I hope it's a good one. My name is Antonio Jackson, and this is my proposal for my senior project I'm calling Crew Life Music. Now, Crew Life Music is a music group of primarily rappers and hip hop artists that I've been cultivating and spearheading for the last 2.5 years. Um, and yeah, let's get into it. Now, general overview of my project, I'm looking to manage the artists of Crew Life Music and get them in a much better position uh, by the end of my project than they are in May 2020 right now. I believe that each artist has their own needs and strengths and weaknesses and aesthetics. And I also believe that some artists could use a little bit more help than others. So I'll pay special attention to those artists to really maximize their growth and get them in a better position. I believe that I can aid the growth of the unit as a whole, as well as the individual artists. And I'll show this through hard data and testimonials, all the primary sources that one would need to prove something. I'll give to you in this presentation and by the end of this project. Timelines, I've broken it up into 4 phases. I don't know about you, but it helps me really think about where I'm going with the project. So for phase one, it's going to be artist evaluation and data collection. And I don't have the dates secure and set in right now because I'm waiting for the project to get approved. But the artist evaluation and data collection should be about 2 to 3 weeks after the project gets approved, and that's me with the initial interviews of the artists and collecting the data and really writing down and taking notes on their strengths and weaknesses as artists and what they could do and what their goals are and where they see themselves at the end of the year. The data collection is to compare at the end of the project to see if there was any growth. I believe there will be, and yeah. And the data itself, I'll be looking at followers, I'll be looking at monthly listeners, streams, video views, comments, likes, everything. Just overall engagement with the artist's content. Um, for phase two, I'll be creating a tailored business plan, and that should take about 2 weeks after phase one. And I'll interview the artist again, and I'll figure out when they're free, what works best for their schedule, and we'll create a business plan and a calendar that we can both to see that we can all have access to that can really organize everything necessary for the artist. There'll be alerts, there'll be different times, and so we'll set that up so that the artist has something that they can follow along with. Phase three is really the meat and potatoes of this entire project. It's the business plan implementation phase, and that should take about 3.5 months after the creation of the business plan and the calendar. Throughout this phase, I'll not only be checking in to make sure that the artist is really implementing the plan and implementing what we said we were going to do and what we agreed upon, but also that they're seeing growth. If they aren't really seeing any growth or any engagement, we might have to pivot in the middle of the project, and that's what I'll list that in the end of my project. But that's really the whole meat and potatoes of the thing, and that's really where we're going to see the most growth is during the business plan implementation of everything. And for phase four, I'm calling it polish and elevation. And it's going to have some overlap with phase three, but I like to think of it as a whole separate phase. During this phase, I'll be doing a polish and wellness check of each one of the artists to make sure that they're ready for any executive or A&R or agent to find them and look as professional as possible. So looking at all of their social media, looking at how their Spotify page looks, all the artist page, biographies, getting an EPK, even a presentation for any agency or artist or A&R to look at, and on the ambitious end, a website. Also, we're going to be doing photo shoots, both live with the artist performing and not live to really capture the artist's aesthetic during this phase, and we'll have that together and we'll package it for each individual artist to really have something out of this project. Now, resources that I'm going to need, not something that we don't already have access to, but laptop, obviously, access to a studio, always have that each individual artist records in a different studio and has access to the studio on campus. Photographers, videographers, just to get more content out to really, really help with the overall design and the polish of the artists themselves. Student media, MEA 200 and 300. Really looking forward to getting a lot of student media in on these projects and really helping them as well as them helping me with my project. And I'm thinking like that partnership as well as partnering with other people outside of student media, because life is all about connections. Um, Getting them, making sure that they're a part of it would be perfect. Graphic designers for cover art and logos, paying for it, everything, getting that together, that honestly would be perfect. People in general, you need people to follow artists to get them plays. Or I'm also going to use people in general for testimonials on what they think about the artists in general, and I'll video that and I'll video the responses and everything. The crew life team in general, so the 6 artists, as well as we call him our manager, more so like an assistant and a constant supporter. Chris Clay, we're going to be using him in the project and whatever paperwork I need to get him involved in it. I'll be spearheading the entire thing, but he'll be there to work and help and assist me. The budget itself is dependent on what the artist is looking to put forward. So based on what the artist is willing to spend on photographers and videographers, that is going to determine our budget. But I know for a fact that we're going to be working upwards of 1K, possibly upwards of 2K, depending on what the artist wants to do and how much the artist is willing to put into this entire thing. So, final thoughts on the project itself. I believe that it's very accomplishable, and I believe that I can show you guys that there will be growth in each one of the individual artists. I know these artists. I have eaten with them. They stayed over at my apartment. We've done shows together. We've all sat and talked together. We are a very, very tight-knit group of individuals, and I believe that I can put this time and money into them, and I'll see growth. I'm a management major, media and entertainment arts management major, and I believe that management for artists themselves is the difference between someone that's just good and talented and someone that's a star and successful. My entire family is music driven, or not music driven, but music based and musically talented. But none of them have really had someone push them on the business end. And I believe that with this, the business knowledge that I've collected over the past semester in terms of gaining, or not gaining, but reviewing and reading over and taking notes on the primary sources and really the knowledge that I've accumulated over the past couple years of working with them. I believe that I can push these 6 artists into a much better position than they are now and help them grow. Yes, 100%. But yeah, that's my senior project. And I hope you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful day. Stay healthy, stay safe. Yeah.